Malaria has plagued the human race for longer than any disease. People used to blame malaria on poor diet and poor living conditions, however, mosquitoes were found to be the cause in the 1890s. Today, malaria is concentrated in sub-Saharan Africa, with 90% of malaria cases occurring on the African continent. Some cases are also present in South America and parts of Asia. In 2015, malaria cases were found in 91 different countries. The disease is transmitted via parasite that enters human victims and injects the parasite into their bloodstream. Malaria causes fever, vomiting, and headache. Cerebral malaria can lead to development of learning disabilities, coma, and death. Over 1 million people die from malaria every year, but the numbers don't stop there. Experts estimate that as many as 600 million suffer from malaria every year, most commonly children, the elderly, and pregnant women. Almost every 2 minutes, a child dies around the world due to malaria. Poverty causes malaria, and malaria causes poverty. The area where malaria flourishes in sub-Saharan Africa is extremely poor. The people can only afford to live in rudimentary housing where malaria-carrying mosquitoes can easily enter and spread the parasite. The female Anopheles mosquito, the only mosquito to carry the parasite that causes malaria bites, mainly bites between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m., so most victims are sleeping when they contract the disease. This is why many charity organizations provide people with bed nets. Poverty can also be caused by malaria, so the cycle of sickness and financial hardship are seemingly never-ending. Studies show that the number of malaria cases spike exponentially during harvest season, sickening workers and inhibiting them from working to provide for their family. The organization Malaria No More is striving to end malaria by 2040, and so far they have saved 6.8 million lives since 2000. One of their main goals is to be able to provide the resources necessary to keep malaria from being contracted. They provide various preventive resources, treatments, and information to countries where the rate of malaria is high. Since 2006, Malaria No More has made a huge impact on thousands of kids, women, and families, along with many different countries. Thomas Sedona's family live in Ghana, and they will never forget how Malaria No More helped them. He remembers when his wife called and told him that his 2-year-old daughter had severe malaria. They were not sure if she would survive, but she ended up making a full recovery. However, it would cost 6 months of his salary to pay for the treatment. Thanks to friends of Malaria No More, he was able to pay everything back and still provide for his family. Malaria No More also focuses on countries as a whole. They have provided mosquito nets to 17 different countries, which has covered over 5 million people. They also started a program called Night Watch that uses celebrities and activists to use their voice to spread information about the deadly disease and how to avoid it. Night Watch has educated 20 million Africans, which is significant considering how people in Africa can be affected by malaria up to 40 times in their life. Malaria No More is also working with researchers to come up with a vaccine that will prevent malaria. So far, they have an artisan-based treatment that treats malaria in kids in 1 to 3 days. Through the Power of One campaign, they were able to get a full course of these treatments for only $1 per child. There are 2 huge long-term implications. First of all, if we can educate women, their kids are 30% less likely to get malaria. One of Malaria No More ways of ending malaria is through education. They focus on the areas of poverty in Africa, but if they can increase the amount of education specifically directed towards women, they can decrease the amount of childhood malaria. The second long-term implication is if we can decrease the number of malaria cases, it will help the African economy. Africa loses $12 billion a year because of people contracting malaria and then becoming unable to work.
Created using Powtoon.